Hi, everybody. Welcome to 3 News Now. This is our streaming platform. I've got Jack Bacon joining us today. He's a former NASA scientist. He's here for the eclipse, among a lot of other people this weekend. We're very excited here in Vermont and very lucky to be in the path of totality. And Dr. Bacon, kind of just kicking us off, we know what we can expect to see. I think I have a pretty good idea. I am not the expert, though. I don't know the science behind it, and that's why you're here. So please, in just a few words, kind of explain what people will be seeing when they start looking up to the sky.
Okay, we are looking at one of the great occultations that happens in space. In our galaxy, planets are flying in front of suns and asteroids in front of stars, and things are always lining up. But these are the two biggest objects that humans can see, and it is such a rare thing that they all line up. We're blessed that our moon is nearly exactly the same size in the sky that the sun is, although much tinier, of course. It's closer. And it is so rare that they actually get directly in front of each other. Any spot on Earth may typically see a total solar eclipse every 400 years or so.
And with that in mind, too, this is not your first total solar eclipse. How many? This is your, what, three?
Fourth,
Four?
yeah.
Four.
Yeah,
Okay.
I've been in Kazakhstan to see them.
Yeah.
I was the annular eclipse just last fall. I was out off the coast of Honduras on a ship, and I'm looking to be in Iceland for the next one in 2026.
One of the things we've said a lot throughout our coverage is a once in a lifetime. This might not be the case for someone like you who's traveled a lot around the world.
I believe that once people have seen it here, they may similarly become addicted and may start traveling to see them. They are life-changing events.
Yeah, absolutely.
You get a sense of your place in the universe.
Yeah. Very grounding.
Yeah, I have an astronaut friend that talked about how she spent her life in space, and when she saw her first total eclipse, she became aware of how spherical the moon was and how spherical the sun was, and that we are actually 3D bodies in space, where she was aware of the Earth, but everything else put in perspective for her with it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know you brought along some graphics and stuff kind of to kind of give a better idea of where this has been, what people are going to see.
Sure.
So we'll kind of just bring some up here right now.
Oh, yeah, great shot.
We have our map here, which is showing that total path, and of course that dot on the upper, right side is where we are. Right. But across the U.S., we're looking at what? Parts of Texas, Indianapolis.
Yeah. And it's not a momentary event all along the line. It's a momentary event, maybe 3 minutes long here. Yeah. But down in Texas, they'll be seeing it about an hour before we do. Yeah. So it's moving at about 3 times the speed of sound coming along the surface of the planet. We will be able, if we're watching the streams from other places, we'll be able to see an hour ahead of time what we're about to see up here.
A little sneak peek, I guess, of what we're to expect. But it's very interesting to see. A lot of other countries part of the countries are gearing up. We're very obviously focused on Vermont.
Of course,
we're all shops and businesses are going all out. But we're kind of getting a sneak peek as far as that goes. But I wanted to bring up, I guess, another thing that I guess you wanted to show is, I guess, the Milky Way universe.
Just the scale of what's out there. There are stars everywhere. They have planets and moons around other stars. And we see out into space our asteroids and other planets fly in front of them. We learn a lot of things. For instance, Uranus, the planet, passed in front of a star back in 1975, and they were looking at the skin of Uranus trying to find out what was in the atmosphere by looking at the absorption of light. And in doing so, they saw the rings of Uranus for the first time. Yeah. Discoveries happen every time we get a chance to get things in space in front of each other. It's how we find new planets. It's how we find the atmospheres around other planets. Yeah. But what happens when the moon hits our sun? We start to understand our local neighborhood so much better.
And that kind of leads me to my next point here. When, especially looking at this eclipse. Yeah. What have we learned? I mean, what's kind of the next thing that we hope to learn from this one as far as, when the next one rolls around?
Well, during this eclipse, NASA is sending up some sounding rockets. These are the ones that go very high into the ionosphere. They're doing some high altitude helium balloons. And we're looking at this transition of the ionosphere, which you may know that we can bounce radio waves off the upper atmosphere. It happens much better at night. Yeah. Well, still understanding the dynamics of how that happens, and they will be measuring the transition during the 3 minutes of the eclipse, heading into it, heading out, on a much faster scale than we ever see in any other situation. Yeah. So they'll get more data points on that.
So a lot of people are taking today off.
Yep.
not you guys, not them. No, this today is definitely the day for a lot of NASA scientists. And other people
We have a gentleman coming to the Hula event where I'll be hosting today, who is the guy NASA sends out to do research on this, and he's been studying the speed of acoustic waves in the coronosphere. Okay. And you can do that only really well during an eclipse. He was down in Australia for the last total. And,
I'm going to be honest with you, my 1 year of Earth science is not covering that, but and it's just, again, it's a fun thing, especially for kids. I know it's a huge day for enthusiasts and people who work in space alike, just in the community in general. From your career side, is this something that has just been talked about for forever, look forward to as far as your peers go? Or
gosh, yeah. I think we have a picture in here, maybe of Stonehenge, where, maybe not. Okay, maybe we didn't get it. Okay, but Stonehenge, before we knew who these people were, before there was the written word, they were building these massive structures that were astronomical calendars, and we know for a fact that they were using it to predict eclipses. Something called the Aubrey holes go around it. We don't even know who built it or what language they were speaking, but our ancestors, primitive ancestors, were so moved by this that they organized their lives and their spiritual rituals around it. There are stone circles, 5,000 of them around the world, all of them trying to connect with an event, just like we're going to see today. Something in our roots.
It's nothing new.
And may I say, I'm just kudos to the educational system up here that on this huge day, they canceled school because the most important thing these kids can see and take away is the experience of our place in the universe. This will leave an imprint in every one of those lives for the rest of their lifetimes.
It's one of those things I can't imagine being stuck in the classroom. And then there's so many businesses, hotels, everyone.
The ultimate field trip.
This. And, I think the highways will.
The highways were jammed coming in just a day ago, so I can't imagine. By the way, plan on taking some time to get out of here. It is not going to be quick.
Yeah. Well, I got at least for speaking for myself, at the noon today, and then I have an event over at the airport, and even though it's not that far away from where we're at right now, I'm a little worried. We'll put it that way. But I just want to also touch on, how has this evolved over the years? I know you also come from a space, working in space family. You work at NASA. Your grandparents worked at the precursor of NASA. How has that technology a little bit evolved as far as how we look?
Oh, I'm a bit of a technological historian, and I can tell you that things are just going exponential, just the same way we all of a sudden reached out after millennia and touched the moon. Our understanding of the universe has multiplied tenfold since the Hubble was launched and is now in a new stretch with the launching of the Webb and the Euclid telescopes. And we're changing what we know about the universe. But still, what we see here on the ground gives us unique opportunities that even the telescopes in space can't do. So we're probing every corner of what we can learn about our place in the universe.
We're talking about technology too. Let's talk about some lower tech here. These guys are kind of the name of the game. We have about 10,000 of them here at the station. We got a bunch. We handed them out. And you had explained earlier a little bit of a test that you can do to tell the real deal kind of from the phonies, the ones that they might have just the knockoffs on Amazon or wherever
So
else
if you take out your cell phone, and let's see if I can get to my light here. First of all, you can tell the light is very bright, but if you put the thing in front of it, I'm going to try to block it. How are we doing? There we are. There we go.
Might not pick up on this, but
it's very hard to see, but you should be able to pretty well block out the light with this. If you're seeing substantial light, you will see it, but if you see substantial light enough to sort of read a book with, the glasses are fake. So you want to see the ISO standard on it. The other neat thing, by the way, is speaking of putting your cell phone in front of, or the glasses in front of the cell phone, is now you can take a picture safely of the sun with this and not burn out the camera. I saw some very nice pictures taken out at sea when I was in the last eclipse.
The last thing you want to do is hurt your eyes, hurt your phone, and
don't hurt your phone.
So, I don't know. I don't want to upgrade yet anyway. So, nice nifty trick. And we talked a lot about, as far as safety goes. I know we had a lot of stuff in the morning show. Don't drive with your glasses on, guys.
These things are designed to let through 6/1000ths of a percent of the sun. They're truly like looking through aluminum foil.
But of course, just be safe as far as that goes. Don't be taking videos while you're driving and else like that. We can. That's something that even the experts don't have to tell you. So, like I said, as far as your event today, I know. A little later on this morning, you're going to be heading down there to Hula in Burlington. 3,000 people are expected to show up there. what's going through your head? I mean, that's a lot of people, but
I'm happy to be
you've
there.
done this
I
before,
love the happening. It's the more the
yeah.
merrier. It's fun to share. As I said, we travel to try and see these, and we have many guests in Burlington now. If we can bring up the shot of the space station going in front of the. Where we are.
Ooh,
it's coming up.
wait.
Yeah, we got it.
Hold on.
Yeah, it's coming. There we are.
There it is.
Okay, so there's a lot to see even before the eclipse is complete.
Yeah.
So if you get a moment of sunshine either before or after, and the high clouds aren't there, you'll probably see you see two things besides the moon covering the sun. First, in sort of upper middle, you see sunspots. And these are what Galileo saw back in the early 1600s and changed our understanding of how the sun works. We learn a lot from the sunspots themselves about how the inside of the sun works. We're approaching what's called solar maximum, where you see a lot of these.
Okay.
And in particular, when the moon is fully eclipsing the sun, this is when you see the flares that are coming out of those sunspots. Yeah. But more interestingly, down along the axis of the sun, you see the shadow of the space station going by. This was from the eclipse in 2017. A photographer named Ned Kowalski took this for NASA. If you get in the right place, you can see spacecraft coming by. What's amazing is in the 30-year history of the space station, they've been through a total eclipse once in their orbit path. They actually see more of the terrain than we can drive to. So it's even rare for the space station. And interestingly, they are passing within our site from Burlington into the total eclipse just north of us. As we're watching it, they're coming over the horizon, heading in over New Brunswick.
So just from the naked eye, you're not seeing. Are you seeing that?
No, you probably need a pair of binoculars to see it. So
that's what I
binoculars and a filter on your camera.
So we actually had a story we aired last week, and I think they basically just got the filter below the binoculars. And did it out. So it'd be amazing to see. I know a lot of people. I was at the waterfront yesterday, just kind of seeing the setup and everything else like that, and there's guys already out there, tripod set, throw it at the sky. I mean, people are ready to go.
Oh, now speaking of things lining up, if we can show this picture down here, there's another thing that's going on tomorrow is that, the sun will be eclipsed by the moon. That's hard tomorrow, today. But in addition, the planet Jupiter is within easy hand reach of the sun. But right next to the planet Jupiter is a periodic comet like Halley's Comet, comet Pons-Brooks, and it shows up every 75 years. And while it's very faint, you may be able to see it in daylight conditions, which would be the only time that in its past this century that you'll be able to see it in daylight. Yeah,
it's very exciting for space enthusiasts alike. I mean, that's incredible that you can.
But in addition, you see the eclipsing sun, you see the comet, you see Jupiter. The planet Uranus is right next to Jupiter. Down there at the bottom, you see Venus. Mars is just off to the right of that, but the planet Neptune is right next to Venus, and the planet Mercury, that very few people ever get to see, will be in the corona. So if you happen to get some clear skies, you may get to see most of the planets of the solar system and a comet in the same view while the sun is eclipsing.
Right, and the thing is, I hope to have a better idea of what this clouds look like. From right now, from my understanding, they're relatively clear, some light clouds. But by noon, I think we'll have our show, obviously, and hopefully we'll have some more clear picture.
If I understand from Peter this morning, the weather, we're expecting very, very high cirrus clouds, which is good because they're just like gauze. You can see a lot through them. What I mean. May not see the planets so well, but you will see the eclipse. It should be wonderful. If by any chance the sky is clear and you start getting disheartened because the little puffy cumulus clouds are above you, don't worry. I have seen this happen a couple of times where as the sun starts to eclipse, all the heat hitting the ground stops and the cumulus clouds just don't have any energy to drive them. They evaporate and go away. And so magically it all clears up if it's the cumulus clouds. Cirrus, I think we get them, but we're playing the cards we're dealt. It's going to be spectacular anyway.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I think for the most part, too, largely we have lucked out. Because of the rest of the forecast this week, a little bit of rain in this area. So
not only is there rain uprange of us, a few places are looking at tornadoes about the time that the eclipse is coming through. So worst of all worlds for those folks.
Count our stars. We're very lucky for that one. So, but like I said, it's a lot to look forward to. It's going to be a long day in news, but especially I think a lot of us are excited, and the crowds speak for themselves. We can actually take a look here. This is our Church Street Market Cam.
Oh, wow.
This is, what is it, 9:45? There's still a ton of people out there. Some people camped out and the like, so a very, very lot of fun. And then we even go to our waterfront cam. That's where we'll be set up later on. And again, it's just the crowds are coming out. I know Network News is coming out. It's going to be a lot of fun. And hopefully everyone has their glasses and is safe and can enjoy it in the best way they can.
Part of what's giving me goosebumps
Yeah.
is I remember when I was 6 years old, I watched Alan Shepard lift off, and
Yeah.
my life changed watching all the fire and smoke and the excitement of the launch. And I became a rocket scientist for the rest of my life. I knew at 6 that I wanted the career I got.
Yes.
And I can imagine that all over Burlington today, there are kids in kindergarten, first grade, second, up through high school, that all of a sudden decide that's what I want to do with my life.
Yeah.
It is a life-searing, changing kind of experience, and that kind of impact on your soul that you see.
Yeah.
I know that there are kids in our community that are going to change their careers as a result of what they see today.
Yeah, I think there's really nothing better than that, especially speaking as a scientist and people who want to get into STEM and into the field especially. I mean, what's better than that? What's better? What's a better recruiting event?
That's why I'm here.
Yeah.
Well, I'm here because it's fun.
I know.
But it's a beautiful place.
Yeah.
But truly, I'm excited for the kids. Kudos to the education system for letting them be clear today to go see it.
Absolutely. I just want to touch on one thing too. I was looking at our Facebook post that we posted about an hour ago now. There's not a ton of comments. If there's only... Okay. We have from Jesse, how many times does the sun rotate around the moon? That's...
So, all right. So the moon goes around us every 29 days. We go around the Earth all the time, and that's part of because nothing's in perfect sync. It's why these eclipses are so rare that you get one sort of periodicity of the moon going around us, and one period of when we see the sun, and they sort of beat together, and it takes a long time for them to get exactly lined up.
Yeah.
And then even when they do line up, where are we as the Earth rotates around? It could be that we're on the night side when it's happening on the other side of the Earth. So it is a very rare thing that everything lines up, that you on the ground are looking through the moon at the sun. The periods are so strange that it takes a while for everything to get back in alignment.
Yeah.
And the angle of the moon's orbit relative to our orbit around the sun means they have to be crossing at the right time. So just getting the periods in phase, that's not the same of getting everything lined up.
Right.
So the statistics are just really, really improbable. And yet, here we are.
Look at improbability, and look how many people came out. So perfect.
Yeah, the millions across the country are coming. Yeah.
Yes, and then Douglas is asking, does the moon rotate faster than the Earth?
Actually, no. The moon rotates very, very slowly. It is what's called gravitationally locked or tidally locked with the moon, the Earth. It always gives us the same face. So in the 27 and a half days it takes to go around us, it's rotating once so that the face is always facing Earth. We only see the front side of the moon. Earth is rotating once every 24 hours. Yeah. So we swing by and the moon is gradually changing.
Yeah. Cool. I think, as far as my takeaway point here, I know you have your presentation later on this afternoon, and we talked about how a lot of kids might look up today and say, hey, I want to do this as a career. As far as more of the educational aspect of kids learning about this today, what do you want that biggest takeaway to be as far as just
one of the things is that we are still doing meaningful science in today's eclipse, just as we were doing 100 years ago. The lecture I gave at Hula yesterday, I pointed out that using this kind of thing, we've learned about general theory of relativity, the size of the Earth, the size of the moon, the distance to the moon, the size and distance of all the planets, the speed of light, the existence of other planets in the cosmos, the atmospheres around those planets and around those in our own solar system. And we're just touching the surface. We are still expanding our knowledge of what goes on. This is the most dramatic of all of these transits and eclipses that go on. But scientists all over the world are excited about what they're seeing. It's not just that it's cool and it's dark.
That's the thing.
This is a big scientific moment. It's like watching a shuttle launch or something. It's a big thing in science.
Well, I know we're absolutely really excited about it. We have complete coverage throughout the rest of the day. We have our noon show and then our special report at 3. Where can people see you later on today? It's probably last too late now, but
I'll be down at Hula there on Lakeside, and we have a big 19-foot television set up, and we have some tremendous telescopic gear. We'll be getting live feeds from NASA and from the space station, and we'll be broadcasting from there as well. We have one of the best optical experts in the world. Ron Dantowitz has come with his gear, and we'll be broadcasting on a group called skyshow.net. And he's got telescopes as well as NASA up the way. Skyshow.tv. You can check in with other places around the country. So
absolutely, yeah. Well, that's just one of many events here. We're very excited. Of course, you can stick with us throughout the day and head down to the waterfront to see just all this in action. But Dr. Bacon, thanks so much for.
I am so
coming
excited
on.
to be here. I'm happy to share with folks too. All right, thanks.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right.